I am so excited and grateful that you took the time to join me in today's conversation. Because in our last conversation, we talked about dumping the purse. We talked about getting rid of what weighs you down so that you can have room for what really matters. But here's the thing, you can empty that purse all day long. And if you don't trust yourself, you'll end up putting the wrong things right back in. So today, I want to talk about self trust, what it is, why it matters, and how it's the filter that protects your inner room and it helps us to carry what's really meant for us to carry. So sit back and relax and just begin to enjoy me in this conversation. I would love for you to comment and engage and definitely give me some feedback of how you are navigating this space in your life. When we talk about self trust, let's look at it as, simply believing that you can make decisions that align with who you are and also make decisions according to what you value and what you value in the season that you happen to be in. It's like knowing that you can listen to that inner small voice, that you can be able to listen to the wisdom that's within you and even your lived experience and begin to follow through on what you hear. Now, let's see what that could look like. For example, it's like having a closet you love. Now, when you trust yourself, you're kind of careful about what you hang in there. You don't keep clothes that don't fit or even styles that you've outgrown just because someone else liked them. Now, you only keep what you're actually going to be wearing in that particular season of life. Now, without self trust, sometimes we have a tendency to lean too hard on what other people's opinions. Sometimes we keep things just in case we might need them. Or we might even begin to hold on to like keys for doors that will never open again. And we may begin to fill that inner room with other people's problems because we think it's our job to fix them. But with self trust, you're your own filter and you begin to know exactly what you have space for. And then you begin to protect that peace and that space like you would protect your own home. Now, you might be thinking, why is having self trust valuable? Now, could it be valuable because when you trust yourself, you don't just make better decisions, you make lighter ones. When you trust yourself, you're able to say yes without overthinking and even say no without guilt. And what does that do? It leaves room for the right opportunities because we're not weighed down by the wrong ones. Kind of think about it like this, think of your inner room like a guest room in your home. Now, if it's full of boxes and clutter, then you can't welcome the people or even opportunities that truly belong there. So now, self trust, it keeps that room ready, it keeps it clear, and it keeps it open. It keeps it clear and open for what's meant for you. Think about it like this as well. I'm reminded of a scripture that tells us, above all else, to guard our hearts, for out of it, everything you do flows from it. So, self trust is part of guarding that inner space that God gave you. Oh, my world. Can you just take a moment and begin to imagine having self trust? And when we have self trust, how it can change the way that we begin to navigate lives. I have a short story I want to share. Now, I can remember a time when I said yes to a commitment. I said yes out of guilt. Now, my schedule, it was already packed, but I didn't want to disappoint anyone. So what did I do? I said yes. Then weeks later, I was so exhausted, I was resentful, and even behind on the things that God had actually assigned me. And that's what happens when we don't trust ourselves to say no. What begins to happen is our inner room, it begins to fill up with what doesn't even belong. Here's another illustration. Think about this. Without self-trust, that purse that you have, it is full of stuff that's not even yours. Things like expired coupons, broken pens, someone else's to do list. And then when something truly important comes along, you have no room left. But with self trust, you get to decide what belongs and what can be set down without feeling the need to apologize. Now, I want to take a moment and pause here because I want you to know I'm not coming to you as if I've mastered all of this or as if I'm the queen of self-trust, because trust me, as I'm navigating life and I'm moving in and out of different seasons and situations, I'm recognizing that self-trust for me, it doesn't look the same in each season. But what I do want to share with you is how I begin to build self-trust. And one of the first things that helped me to be able to build it was by keeping small promises to myself. For example, if I said that I was going to drink at least 32 ounces of water today and each day, I had to do it because every small promise that I kept, it was like a deposit in my trust account. Another thing I had to learn to do was begin to pause and pause before saying yes. And I would encourage you to do the same. I would encourage you to give yourself at least 24 hours if you can. Begin to check in and see if it fits in your inner room before you even let it in. Another thing I noticed I had to do, I had to begin to notice what drains me. If I forget picking up something, whether it's a task or relationship or even a role, I had to begin to ask myself why. Again, I would encourage you to do the same because that's a clue for the future. And then the last thing that helped me was begin to celebrate every right call that I made because even small good decisions are worth noticing because they're proof that you can begin to trust yourself again. So, as we begin to end this conversation, I just want to share something with you. I had this really, really nice tote bag. Boy, it was big enough to fit my whole life in it, or at least so I thought. But then one day, I happened to pick it up and nearly dropped it. I almost dropped it because it was so heavy. I set it down, and guess what? I started pulling things out. And I'm not even exaggerating when I say half of the stuff I didn't even remember putting in there. There were old receipts, a broken charger, some lip balm that had melted. Even I had someone else's mail that I forgot to drop off. And then the crazy part is the thing that I actually needed that day, it was buried at the bottom. I mean, buried way down at the bottom. I had been carrying all that weight and it was slowing me down without me even realizing it. And that's exactly how life works when we don't have self trust. Out in a room, our space to breathe and to move, it gets packed with things that don't even belong to us. We keep them out of habit, or could it be sometimes fear, or even the hope that someone will notice how much we're carrying. But here's the thing, carrying more, it doesn't make you more valuable. Carrying the right things, it makes you more effective. Let's look at it like this. Just begin to imagine again. If you were going on a road trip with your friends, the car, it only has but so much room for luggage. So if you fill it with bags of stuff that you might need but never actually use, you won't have space for what's really important or for anything new you discover along the way. So self-trust is the packing list, I'd say. Self-trust is like the packing list. It's what keeps you from cramming in things that you don't even need so that you can enjoy the journey without being weighed down. Boy, that's almost worth saying again. Self trust is the packing list. It's what keeps us from cramming in things that we don't even need so that we can enjoy the journey without being weighed down with stuff that we don't even need. So here's my gentle reminder. When it comes to self trust, it's like the guard at the door of your inner room. It's that built in purse check that makes sure that you're carrying what counts and then leaving the rest behind. Without it, you'll always feel heavy. But with it, you'll have the space, the energy, and even the peace to live the life that you were meant for. So my invitation to you this week, it's simple. Before you put anything new in your purse or even on your calendar, pause and ask yourself, do I trust me enough to know if this belongs with me? You might be surprised by how well or how much lighter life starts to feel. So until next time, my desire is that you continue to be well and live your life bold, fulfilled, and free. Take care.